Welcome to the solutions for the averages and frequency tables problems. If you've got this far, you've done 4 of these. Well done. If this is the first one you've tried, then try and keep up. So we're just going to start with question 1. There's 10 numbers here. Let's hope there's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's not lying. Let's just work out the range. So I often teach people a little rhyme to remember what these things mean. Hey diddle diddle, the median's the middle. You add then divide for the mean. The mode is the one you see the most, and the range is a difference between. Difference between what? Well, it's difference between the biggest value, which looks to me like it's 9, and the smallest value, which looks to me like it's 3 here. So we do 9, take away 3, and we get 6, which is the range. Now for the mean. You add then divide for the mean. So we're just going to add them all up. So we've got 6 and 4, which makes 10. Then we've got those two, which makes 25, 30, 39, 46, 49, 55, 62. 62. And we're going to divide it by 10. So that gives us 6.2. And obviously, you might get this on a calculator or non-calculator paper. Pretty important to write this bit down. This bit here is your insurance, the dividing by 10 and your sum. Now, we get onto the harder stuff now. Zach has 10 CDs. The table gives some information. Boring, boring, boring. Who cares about Zach and his CDs? We just want to get some marks on this question in our exam. Now, this is what I call a TAD question. And it stands for times, add, divide. So first of all, we do the times bit. So 11 times 1 is 11. 12 times 3 is 36. 13 times 0 is 0. 14 times 2 is 28. And 15 times 4 is 60. So that's the TAD bit done. Now we're going to do the adding. So we add, 1 add 3 is 4, 5, 6, so that's 10. And then we add down here, a bit harder on this one, isn't it? So we've got 60, 88, 98, 99, 105, 135. So that's our adding, and now we finally do our divide. 135 divided by 10, which is 13.5. And that's 3 marks, a TAD question. And here we are, we've got another similar thing. It's a frequency table, and it's asking us for the mean again. Notice the last question was asking us for the mean. Now, we write down TAD, just like we did before. And remember, it's times, add, divide. But before we do that, first of all, we're going to go down the middle and write down our midpoints, and I'm going to do that in red. So between 0 and 10 is 5. 10 and 15, well, that's 12.5. 15 to 20 is 17.5. And 20 to 35 is going to be, what do you reckon? 20 to 35, it's a gap of 15, it looks like 27 and a half. And now we are ready to do our TAD. So the first step is to times. So we've got 5 times 16, and here we've got 12.5 times 18, and then we've got 17.5 times 10, which is 175. We can do that one. And then finally we've got 27.5 times 6, and at this point I'm going to reach for my trusty calculator. 5 times 16, that's 80. 12.5 times 18 is 225, and 27.5 times 6 is equal to 165. So there's the times bit. Now we're going to do the adding. So we add down, so 16 and 18, that's 34, 44, 50, so that's 50 there. And actually it told us at the top here, so we can check ourselves there. And now we're going to do the other add, which is down here. So we've got 80, and we're adding 225, and we're adding 175 and 165, and they all add up to 645. So that's our adding, and now we finish off with the divide. 645 divided by 50, and that gives us a grand total of 12.9, and that's our mean, that's our average. Now, the challenge question. This is a true challenge question. So there's 15 bags of apple on a market stall, and the mean number is 9. This table shows the numbers of apples in 14 of the bags. Calculate the number of apples in the 15th bag. Well, the key to this is to understand what you're doing with the TAD, really. So first of all, I'm going to work out how many apples there are in this table. So this is the times part of it, and the reason for that is that 7 apples turn up in 2 bags, which means that that's 14 apples. There are 3 bags with 8 apples in, that's 24 apples. There are 3 bags with 9 apples in, and that's 27 apples. And likewise we've got 40 and 22. And if we add all those up, we've got 38, 45, 55, 65, 105, 127 apples. Now, we know that the mean, to find the mean, you would share the number of apples between the number of bags, and there's 15 bags. And we know, because it says at the top, that if you do that, then the mean number is 9. Let me just explain why I wrote the question mark. We know in the 15 bags, we know in 14 of the bags there's 127, and then there's some apples in the 15th bag. That's what we're trying to work out. And we know that to work out the mean, they would have added up all the apples in all of the bags and divided by 15. And we know the mean's 9. So all we've got to do is just got to do this backwards. This is an equation. So I'm going to just start with the 9, and I'm going to multiply it by 15. 9 times 15. So 10 times 15 is 150. So this is going to be 135. And then I'm going to do 135, and I'm going to subtract the 127, which leaves me with 8. So that's the number of apples in the 15th bag, 8 apples. And if you wanted to check that, and I would if it was in an exam, I would add that all up and see if it worked out at 9. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again soon.